when it starts, though, so and I can't even see.
It's on.
Oh no, we're live right now. As always, we failed to know we were live. Welcome to the Paving the Way podcast, our first one of 2023. We had a little hiatus there, so thank you for revisiting us, and we say goodbye to 2022. Today, we're going to talk about the top ways to empower goalkeeping on your asphalt and concrete paving team. I think it's really just empowering goalkeeping on your whole company, not just your paving and asphalt and concrete teams, but it's really just empowering all of your employees to keep goals. I would like to have a shout out though for Ethan Brown, who just left for the Army today. That's where I was this morning. That's why I was late, and everyone else gave me shit over it. Again, that was hurtful. He's leaving to go to the Army. That's my second son actually that left for the Army. We're super proud of him and all of our thoughts with him at basic training going forward. Sorry.
How many kids do you have?
No kid.
9.
Jesus.
Yes. You're one below me though. So
wow. Yeah, right.
With 8.
I don't know. 7 of them.
I don't Oh, geez. All right, Austin. How you doing this new year?
It's going.
Yeah? It's going.
It's going.
That was
It's going just like every other year has.
Exactly.
Except there's a lot of rain.
There is.
It is unbelievable.
So we are not working right now.
Yeah. Have we worked at all this year?
No.
A couple days.
Yeah. Like 2. That sucks. But let's focus on goalkeeping, since that's what we're here to talk about today. So we'll switch transition in. We have some slides we're going to go over today. I like our slides. Oh, and the new mustache. Did everybody see the new mustache? I just keep getting in my nose.
It's real.
Yes. It's the year of the mustache, so I'm waiting for everyone else to get on board. That's why Austin's little peach fuzz is growing in.
That would be hilarious.
So if Austin goes on,
yeah,
will you grow one,
or
Austin?
if we all did it.
Live on? Will you?
No.
Why not? It's the year of the mustache. It's hilarious. Everyone is so embarrassed to say anything about it. I'll say that.
I'm not.
Ethan had his going away party, his graduation party, and everyone just sat there and stared at me. Like you see them just like staring, like, and no one will say anything. And I'll just sit there and be like, oh, yeah. So I think you guys should do it too. I would appreciate it.
First and foremost.
So empowering goalkeeping on your asphalt team, what we're here to talk about today. So on today's episode, we'll be exploring the top 5 ways to empower goalkeeping on your team, paving team for us and concrete, but really all of your teams. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out in the industry, this episode has something for everyone. Hope it has something for us. The 5 ways to empower goalkeeping on a paving team. Number 1 is, this is video I took, by the way, too. I've seen them all over Instagram. I do some pretty good videoing, I must say.
Is that the rubber tire roller?
Nope.
It's not?
No.
Oh, that's the logo?
Couldn't tell.
No, but it was pretty sick. That's out at the Levy project.
Gotcha.
Which is probably underwater right now. That one's probably underwater, but okay. So clear goal setting. I think clear goal setting, obviously, if you're trying to have goals, you have to set what your goals are. And what I've found for me is that you have to set clear goals for your employees, not asking them to set goals. As always, when we're talking about these things, I'm not saying that I'm a master at these or that Pat's a master at everything, especially baiting hooks. But but so this is something I've been working on for years. I feel like it's been just a process, but clearly setting goals for your employees, telling them. Austin, I think this is big for the team too, right?
Goals that are achievable, actually.
Achievable, yes. Well, I think we're going to get into some of those other things too, because there's nothing I want to say with achievable. But we need to set the goals for our employees or set them with them.
So talk to them. What types of goals can you set for a paving crew?
For a paving crew, I think the goals you would set would be like time goals. Like we're trying to finish this project in this amount of time. Tonnage. Yeah, make sure we're staying within the tonnage.
How many tons do we get down, an hour or a day?
Yes, or a day. Yes, I think also callbacks, like making sure, like a goal to not have callbacks.
Yeah, callbacks are when we get called back to fix like bird baths or bird baths are just very low spots in the paving. A lot of that can be tied back to whoever graded the project, but they love to put it on the paving company, even though you kind of set your paver and it paves the same thickness everywhere. So
yeah. I think bird baths is a big one, especially with all this rain, right? Like that's the calls we'd be getting right now. I mean, if it's bird bathing while it's actively raining, that's a different story than if
Well, it has to be. It's 30 minutes after the rain stops. There's supposed to be, I think it's like a 1/4 inch more, or an 1/8 inch deep is considered a bird bath. But
and then it doesn't drain on its own. So basically, yes. So I think clear goal setting are those are examples of goals, but I think making sure that the people you're working with, which I think this is also something we should be working on, right? Like I think we do this, but not to the best extent. But I think it's something that we should be pushing more. But making sure it's clear goals. I know this is based towards paving, but I mean, we have a lot of office people who have goal setting, right? Like we sit down and talk to them about their goals. Like, what are our goals for estimating this year? What are our goals for the office? So it's really just goal setting in general across your whole company, even for yourself. You have to have your own goals. What are your goals?
I don't have goals.
Oh, okay. I figured. That sounds about right.
He's the master.
Yes. I'll set the goals.
To get better at baiting.
Oh, that's I said that one up. That's a picture. I don't like seeing video of me. And I said, my dad, if he was still alive, would shit talk. That's so bad. He would highlight it and circle it and send it to me.
I can do that for you.
Well, it was that I would say the most. That one's an so this one's goals, resources and support. What is this? Essentially provide the team with necessary resources and support. This is like we jumped though, I feel like. No, this is the last step. So
this is something that we try to do is have great equipment, new enough equipment that it's not breaking down on them, because that is, when it comes to paving, the quickest way to destroy your goals is to have equipment that hasn't been maintained. That's something that we're constantly struggling with, not just on the asphalt side of things, but all of our equipment and trucks. It's hard to set goals for the guys to keep their trucks clean, keep them maintained, make sure the brakes are good. And if you don't do these things, it ends up costing us a lot more money than if it was just done up front. So that's a little bit about resources and support. We try to give them the resources and support them by making sure they have great equipment that's kept up to date. And we're constantly spending a lot of money buying new things, new types of rollers, new grinders, and making sure that they have what they need to get their job done successfully.
And it's not even just tools, it's like even training, right? Making sure you have training, the right people there. I know we had a project we were just talking about where we didn't really have the right people there and we had some problems. And I mean, that's not the crew's fault, that's our fault. If we're not giving them the right people to do the job in this season, especially the Christmas season, it's hard to keep guys on. A lot of guys want to take some time off in the winter, or they don't be there, and sending the wrong crew out to do the job. So making sure you have the right training for the right people. The right people are there to do the right job. You have to know what your teams can expect and what resources you're actually giving them.
All the way back to, training on how to operate the paver, sexual harassment.
Is that a joke or are you being serious?
Yeah, that was a joke.
Sexual harassment's not a joke. But this is sexual harassment training. Yes. Well, wow. That went too far.
It did?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no, like you said, there's no too far.
Okay.
But there is trainings that you need to have. I mean, these guys need to be trained to do the jobs properly, making sure they're trained to run the paver, making sure they're trained to run the rollers, making sure they're trained to run the screed.
In California, thinks they need to be trained on sexual harassment as well.
That's why
they don't harass each other.
I understand that. You don't need to.
That's huge.
Don't dig the hole deeper. But I mean, even training on. Now you fucked it up because I had something.
Yeah, training on first aid.
There you go.
Injury, illness.
There we go.
Wide range of trainings that need to be done.
For sure. And I mean, and really expecting it's training on, I was going to say training on ADA. I think the one that we were just talking about was an ADA issue. ADA, especially in California, is no joke. It's very precise, very detailed numbers. Like this has to be done exactly the right way. And if you're off by any amount, the whole thing's wrong. And I think that we kind of set our guys up on a project to do it without the right resources and the right people. And then it goes bad, and it's not our guys' fault. I mean, that falls back on us because we're not setting them up with the right resources. I think that's big for us, is that we take blame for our mistakes. Well, I take blame for Pat's mistakes, take blame for my mistakes. Austin takes blame for his mistakes. I think that's big. No, Pat's never. I mean, someday may come, you might be wrong. But
maybe.
Not there yet. So I think keeping those resources and the support correct, and knowing when you don't give them the right resources, it's not on them. Like these guys can only do what they are capable of doing. Well, that was perfect, huh? I feel like I just said accountability, right? It's a crucial foster a culture of accountability. We're big on accountability. I'm big on accountability for me. I feel like we need to be maybe pushing towards the field a little bit with more accountability. I think we can work on that. But I'm big. If something's my fault, I'm the first one to say it, man. I mess up shit all the time. And Austin
messes stuff up all the time.
I didn't want to say that, but I appreciate that.
But Pat's perfect.
No, I think we need
That's
to,
because I don't do much.
I think we need to all be clear through this. Pat's perfect. I don't think that's something we should be. I'm not joking around with that. That's
Thank
some
you.
serious stuff.
Thank
Pat
you.
is perfect. But I mean, being accountable, holding ourselves accountable. I can't expect anybody else to hold themselves accountable if we don't hold ourselves accountable, which I think we're big on. I have no problem telling my guys I messed up. But I also want guys to work for us who can say like, hey, I messed that up, or I didn't know what I was doing and I should have had more support. I should have had more material. I should have had more equipment. I should have had more time. I mean, you got to be vocal with that. They got to be vocal with us, and we have to be vocal with them.
Agree.
Is that good on that one?
And honest with them. If there's a problem.
Some of these aren't even like, I don't even see
Well, a
accountability.
lot of it comes back to communicating your goals.
Well, that's another one. You're ruining this.
Well, they kind of all tie together.
You're
but
ruining it.
no one can be held accountable if you don't communicate what you want.
I was hoping the next one was communication, but it wasn't. Progress tracking.
This goes back to kind of giving them part of their goal. They need to know, how many hours they have for a specific job, how much tonnage they have to put down, how many trucks they have, and making sure we're giving them what they need to get stuff done, and someone's tracking it all the time.
I feel like this is something that I want to work on much more in 2023. I feel like we've done a good job pushing this, telling people where they are and where they're supposed to be. But I think that we can do a lot more. But 100% on progress tracking, knowing what our goals are from the beginning, and then where we are in order of reaching our goals. It's a quick one. I do like to say that this picture is from it's from a job we're doing out in West Sac on the levee, which I drove by this morning, and it's literally underwater. Luckily, it's a good thing we got all that concrete poured. I'll say that, because that concrete is underwater.
Really?
Yeah, the water's pushed all the way up to the toe of that levee. I saw it from the freeway. Tomorrow morning, I'm going out there. Austin and I are going there tomorrow.
Damn, so that whole slope could be gone?
No,
because it's all built and poured, and we already have it's all impacted or compacted and everything. We finished it before the rain came. Thank goodness.
But without hydro seed.
Are we supposed to hydro seed that?
No.
I don't think that's on us. But that water's all the way up to the toe of that levee, and I would bet our concrete is underwater.
Wow. It'll have a cure.
It will. It won't crack. But progress tracking is a big one. I like that one. Recognition, making sure to recognize and reward. These are literally different than what I had for notes, but
they are.
I like this
These
one
are
too.
something though that I think we need to spend a little more time on this year.
Yeah.
When the guys do good jobs and hit the hours, hit the tonnage, hit the goals that they're given, just to recognize them more. A lot of the time they're working, really early to really late, and they come back and no one's here to talk to them and see how the day went. And, we rely on the project managers to let us know. And, the guys probably do deserve some more recognition.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Actually, I'm glad you said that, because I have our SMUD crew. We give them goals of 200, and the average between both crews in December, the month of December, was like 254, which, going back into the other months last year, was not as good. So I feel like in December they kind of really pushed it up. I mean, there might have been some rain in there that slowed it down, and they didn't get as much, but they hit the numbers we were shooting for. So I was hoping to give them some recognition in the coming weeks. So I'm glad you said that, because
that can be
recognition to you.
Can be a number of things. It can be a high five, a slap on the ass, or something like that, or it can be money. Gift cards, $50, $100 here and there. It goes a long ways to make them know that you appreciate it.
And I think really big for me, I mean, I agree with all of that, but I'd say really big for me is going out to the field and telling these guys, hey man, you did a good job. I think in a lot of businesses, I see a lot of different businesses, and we have a lot of partners out in the industry. Sometimes the owners aren't even out in the field, or they don't see them, or they're things like that. But I think going out there and shaking their hands and telling them, hey man, I really appreciate the hard work. Like before Christmas, I wanted to make sure we had guys working some guys working the day before Christmas, right? And they were out there, or the day before Christmas Eve, because it was a holiday. It's all weird. But going out there and telling them, hey man, I really appreciate everything you've done for us. Like, the company's is doing better because of you. And I think they need to know that they're part of a bigger process, right? I think letting people know that they're part of something bigger than just what they're doing.
they're part of a cult.
Is it?
I like that.
Jamie knows why.
Wow.
We haven't
Because of the
referred
whiskey.
to it as a cult for a long time.
No, but the whiskey cult. I changed our whiskey club to a whiskey cult.
I
So,
see.
if you're into whiskey, you can let me know though, because we're starting a cult.
I don't
But
drink.
you mean any more or any less than normal? Or? So yeah, I think recognition is big. I think letting guys know. I love that one. Oh geez. Okay. Empowering goalkeeping on a paving team requires a combination of clear goal setting, resources and support, accountability, progress tracking, and recognition. By implementing these strategies, you can help your team achieve success on even the most complex projects. I think that's a great one. Is that our last slide? Because I feel like there's some other. Oh, this is a question here. So I want to things I just want to put on here or add into this that we didn't point. I think they're extra points. Measurable goals. I think I'm big on saying like with goals, and this is like 3 years ago, we'd go over goals and I'd sit down with people and I'd say, okay, what's your goal? And they'd be like, our goal is to be better. I mean, it's not a real goal, right? I mean, like everyone's goal is to be better. Like when you say something, I want to be better, like cool, but measurable goals. Like I want to do 50% more production this year than I did last year. That's a measurable goal. I want to have, we did 20% of our jobs were over hours. I want to have 40% of our, under hours. 40% of our jobs to be under hours. I think measurable goals are a big thing. Unless you make a goal measurable where you can hit that goal, it doesn't do you any good. To say I want something to be better than last year, it's really a subjective term. It doesn't mean anything. The person doing the work would be like, oh, I did way better than last year. And the people managing it would be like, last year was way better than this year. So it's measurable goals. And then these are on my list, but they weren't up here, so I just want to make sure. Communicating those goals to the team, which I think we kind of talked about, but making sure these people, that the players on the team know what their goals are. And encouraging your team members to take ownership. That's a big one. Making sure that we're telling these people who are on the team, hey, this is your goal. Like, and not even just like, I think I'm big on not saying, hey, this is your goal, you need to accomplish it. And sitting down with them and saying, hey, what goals can we work for next year? And tell them, these are the problems I had last year or the things that I think can improve on. What do you think? Do you think we can improve on these things? And then actually having a conversation about it.
I think once you get to the point where you're doing a really good job of letting them know what their goals are, the hours they have to hit, the amount of material you want to put down in a day, and they actually hit those goals and you reward them and recognize them, that's how they're going to start taking more ownership in it. Once they see, okay, I can get more out of this, and that's just life. Everybody wants more out of everything. So you've got to give the guys a way to be able to get more out of it for them to want to take ownership of it. I feel like.
I like that too. And I also think failed goals. I mean, like, I don't like the word failure. I mean, I think I brought this up before. I don't think failure exists, right? I mean, you can not meet your goal, but that means it's just more for you to work on now. Failure only means you quit. If I fail, it means I quit. I mean, I don't need to reach. I mean, I want to reach my goals that I set for this year, but if I don't reach those goals, it just gives me more to work on and more to build. And I think that's the same with everybody else. I think letting them know we didn't fail. We just didn't get where we wanted. Maybe our goals were too lofty. Maybe we didn't work hard enough. Maybe there's 1,000 things that could have happened, but we need to be honest with each other and have those conversations and say, is this a goal that we can do? Sometimes I set goals and then we get 3 weeks into it and I'm like, wow, that's not going to happen. So I think it's big, just making sure there's no failure. It's a team. This is a process. We're building companies. We're building teams. If you're building a team, it's like football, right? There's a lot of football going on right now. If you're building a team and this isn't your year, what's football? I can't even think of anything funny to say. No. I wish I had. That would have been a good setup. But I mean, really, if you're building a team, not all teams are building for the Super Bowl this year. I mean, a lot of teams, like I saw the Detroit Lions played last night. I mean, they're building for next year. They've got a solid team and they're going to come back. But I mean, that's what this is. We're not football teams. We're not teams who have to win the Super Bowl. We just got to get in. I mean, we got to get to a point where we're being successful.
Yeah. And we got to make sure our podcasts don't go too long.
Okay. Yeah.
We're at 20.
Oh my goodness. This is too
long.
So thank you very much for tuning into Paving the Way. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's our big one. Also, a shout out to Logan, who brought us this new microphone for my Christmas present. He's in the Army also. And a shout out to Amy Clark. I almost said Lens. Amy Clark, who said she's seen every podcast we've done live.
Nice. Very nice. So
I saw her at a party and she said, you specifically were amazing. Oh, yeah. No.
So you can also answer this question we have up here because we're always looking for new ways to learn and grow as a team in and of ourselves. So if you have any comments, other strategies that you found to be effective, please drop a line to us and let us know. And yeah, go from there.
That's the last slide. And then thank you to our guys who are out working on our paver who have stopped smashing on equipment for 20 minutes for us to do this podcast.
20 and a half minutes now.
20, 30. All right, we're done. Thank you very much. Check us